I call this spiritual adolescence. It's this tumultuous, turbulent, confusing period of life where we need to make the transition from this immature Christianity, this Christianity which is Christianity but still really very selfish. We've made all these changes, we feel good about ourselves, we're powerful, we're growing, we're changing. It's still all self. And then we hit the wall. We finally become confronted with the real problem. And the real problem is us. The real problem is not the things we do. Those were easy. The real problem is the nature of what we are. So this is really a good thing. When we hit that period, that wall, that curve in our life, that's so hard to negotiate, where we think we've stalled and we've stopped and the growth has stopped, that is time to celebrate because we have arrived at the starting line. Now, what do I mean? Do I mean that we weren't, all those years were wasted, that we weren't Christians back then, and that we have to come to some elevated level of knowledge before we begin the mystical journey of Christianity? No. I mean it by perception. We were on the path all along. What I mean by we came to the starting line is we finally realized what the path was about. We finally realized that it wasn't all those changes, that those were just the fruit. That it wasn't about changing the things we do, that it's about changing the things we are. Now, the Holy Spirit's been doing this all along, but finally it hits us like a ton of bricks. The problem is us. We become confronted with ourselves. We become confronted with the real battle, with the real Christian growth, which we cannot do on our own. We on our own cannot change what we are. And if we don't realize that, we think the journey is stalled, when really it's just we've hit that transition point when we realize what it's truly about. The physical changes were not the journey. The journey is the transformation of our hearts and our minds and ourselves, our very being, from selfishness to selflessness, from humanity to divinity. We would call this, in more classic terms, coming to self-knowledge. We made all these superficial changes, we had all this excitement, but we didn't have a clue about what the real problem was, because we didn't see ourselves clearly. We saw ourselves as evil people who are now becoming good people, or we saw ourselves as good people who were becoming better people. We didn't see ourselves as human becoming divine, because we didn't even understand divinity. We didn't understand how selfish our love and our good is. And now we're being confronted with that reality. We come to self-knowledge, and we come to see our shortcomings of our good and our love. That yes, it is love and good, but it's not the same as God's. Then we also come to God knowledge. We begin to really appreciate what God is, who God is, and how great He is, and the great destiny to which He is calling us to become like Him. The real Christian journey is not the physical changes. The real Christian journey is the transformation of heart from the human nature to the divine nature. Nothing less. We are called to be divine. That's the end game of the Christian business plan. I'm not making that up. Let's look at 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 4. 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 4. Where he writes to us, "Through these He has given us His very great and precious promises." God has given us His very great and precious promises, "so that through them you may participate in the divine nature and escape the corruption in the world caused by evil desires." We are called to participate not in humanity. We are called to participate in the divine nature. We are called to divinity. That's the end goal of this plan. That's changing business as usual. We don't want to keep being humans the way we're being humans. The Christian business plan says for this business to survive and not blow itself up, not wind up with weapons of mass destruction killing us all, not ending up in terrorism, not ending up in who knows what that can make the business fail. Pollution, global warming, who knows what. Instead of persisting as humans, The Christian business plan says we need to be transformed in our nature to become divine. To love, to be good, to be holy, to be as God is. Remarkable. That's the plan. It's not just about doing those good things. Just doing all those good things that we started at the beginning of our Christian journey was not Christianity. It's not about just doing good things. Just doing good things does not make one a Christian. Plenty of people do good things, thankfully. It's not about doing good things. Because if it's ourselves doing good things, it's still human. It is not the transformation that comes only by and from God. So spiritual adolescence is a good thing. Hitting that wall, that deep discouragement, we feel like we stop growing, is a good thing. Because if we successfully negotiate that curve, now we understand what the focus of the rest of our lives are. It's not just about doing good things. It's about being changed to become divine. Because just doing good things is not Christianity. We'll find that out more thoroughly in our next section.
The Christian Journey book and the full-sized, full-quality, complete video series are available for free download at www.spiritualoutreach.com.